What is going on, guys? Today the gameplay that you're going to be watching is a 120 kill game using the Vepr, playing solo by Volt Aspect. My name is Volt Huntsy, and today what we're going to be talking about is the time that I broke my arm and broke my arm multiple times over just so I could play COD. Now I know that sounds weird just from this, but I'll get into it in a little bit. If you guys do enjoy the gameplay, please go check out Aspect. He uploads some insane stuff, some of the best gameplays I've ever seen, with some really nice commentaries as well. And if you do enjoy the commentary, don't forget to come over to my channel as well. I'm also a pub stomper, so you can expect some sexy gameplays up there too. So let's get back into the commentary topic. So when I was in year 7, I'm in year 9 now, so 2 years ago, I went on a snow camp with my school. Now, if you guys have seen my channel before, you would have heard this story, but I'm going to do it again just because it is kind of entertaining. So, I was in year 7 and I went on a snow sports camp with my school. I do live in Australia. Some of you guys may be like, what the fuck, Australia has snow? Well, we have, I think there's like 6 or 7 mountains in all of Australia that do snow, so there's not much. And when there is snow, it's very little. So I went on a snow sports camp and I went with a lot of my mates, and what we decided to do, well, I did have a little bit of experience snowboarding, so I knew what I was doing. You know, I could do the basic fucking go down the hill sort of stuff. So what I did, because it was compulsory to do a lesson every single day. We were up there for 3 days, and it was compulsory to do a lesson or a class of some sort. So what me and my mates decided to do was do the beginner lesson, because we all had some experience, but we didn't want to have to grind ourselves to the point where we were tired, because we ended up having like 6 hours a day of free riding. So we did these really easy classes, and then we'd get 6 hours of the rest of the day to just go free ride wherever we wanted on the mountain, which was really fun. So comes to the last day, which was a Sunday. It was a Sunday, yeah, it was a Sunday, and I was snowboarding. We were in the class, actually. This wasn't while we were free riding, and it was an extremely easy thing. All we were doing was learning how to turn. So if you've snowboarded before, you'd all know how simple that is. And you know, because I had some experience, I was just messing around and wasn't thinking. And what happened was my board like slipped from under me because I hit a big block of ice, and I spun around in the air, landed on my wrist, and broke my left wrist. And so I ended up having to take my board off, going down the rest of the run, and there was a skidoo, or whatever you want to call it, a ski-mobile on the bottom of the run, and it was like an ambulance, and they drove me down to the hospital, which was on the mountain as well. So got my wrist x-rayed with my teacher, because there was no family there, because it was just all students. There was a lot of kids, I'd say like 80 kids. And so the teacher was there and found out my arm was broken, and because it was the last day, I didn't get, you know, rushed out or anything. They just put a sling around it, and I had to sit on the bus for 10 hours. It was a 10-hour bus drive. No, it was a 6-hour bus drive. Well, there's a big difference, sorry about that. But yeah, I sat on the bus with a sling on, and then got home and went to the hospital. But then after I put my cast on, it was one of those casts that go through your thumb and through your hand, and it was impossible for me to play COD. And this is during MW3, and I was an extreme nerd. Like, COD was my life. It still kind of is in a way, but when you can't play COD and when you're somewhat addicted to it, it gets really out of hand. So what I decided to do, this is when I was living with my dad, and he's a really kind of carefree kind of guy. So I asked him if we could somehow modify the plaster so that I could play COD but not completely cut it off. And he was like, yeah, we just cut the bit through your hand off. So what we did, we got hedge cutters and cut like that whole bit that was stopping me from being able to play. And you know, I could still play well, I guess. I ended up dropping 3 mobs in one day with a broken wrist, which was pretty fun to brag about. But then we went back to the hospital 2 weeks later, and they took off the plaster, and my arm looked really weird, and the doctor decided to x-ray my arm again, and he found out that the bone grew the wrong way. So next couple of days I had to go into hospital. They put me to sleep, and they broke my arm again. They pulled on it and they snapped the rest of the bone, because it wasn't completely healed, but it wasn't completely broken. So they had to snap it again so that they could replaster it, and they did the exact same type of plaster, and it drove me crazy. So we ended up cutting the plaster out again. And this time I was lucky enough for my arm not to grow retardedly. We did tell the doctor the next 2 weeks later after that. He thought I was a complete idiot, which I guess is okay, because, you know, this story is kind of weird. I've never heard of somebody doing something like this just for their own passion and their own hobby. I know it may seem a little bit far-fetched, but I promise you guys 133% that this is a full, legit commentary. I don't know why I feel like I have to justify it. It's just because it's such an odd thing. Like, you know, you may have heard something like this before, but when I go back and think about it now, I think of how much of an idiot I was. Like, who goes to the effort to mess up your own arm just to play COD? You know, it's a non-physical sport, but it caused me to break my arm in a way. You know, I had to get it rebroken, and I look back at it, and it is one of the funniest things I've ever done. I did my previous commentary on this channel at the time I almost killed myself. You know, being a younger kid, you experience these things that are so stupid sometimes. You know, I'm a fairly younger guy, and the things I go through at school and the things I go through at home are so funny and so entertaining to me that they may seem kind of immature to the older people listening, but I guess it is something you can all still relate to, because at heart we're all kids. You know, we all like that little bit of fun and enjoyment. So I guess that's what I bring to this channel, a little bit of the youth. You know, a lot of the commentators like ESPN and Rob, well, ESPN is Rob, but you know what I'm getting to, they're all older guys. You know, they're like in their 20s. You know, Keith, he's older, he's 16, I think, I don't know, but everyone is an older commentator, so they have these things that they do in their life that may seem more mature and more thought about in a way, more contemplated. With me, it's just live as you go to school, play COD, make videos, do sport. Fuck sport, actually, sport can go die. But you know, it's just the way I live, I guess. And some people wonder, you know, I've heard a lot of Americans been asking me some really weird questions about Australia, mainly because they have a lot of misconceptions about us. Like, some people ask if we have pet kangaroos, and for the record, no, we don't. America is the only country in the world where you are allowed to have a pet kangaroo. I don't understand it, because they're our native animal and we can't even have them as pets when a country on the other side of the world are allowed to. It seems kind of weird, but I guess that's how the world works. So no, we don't have pet kangaroos. No, we don't ride kangaroos to school. We do have these things, you guys may have heard of them. They're called cars. You know, they have 4 wheels. That's what we use to get around. Sometimes trains and buses. If you guys have heard of them, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we don't have kangaroos. Don't ride them to school. We are not all fucking laid back and don't care about anything. There are a lot of bogans, and if you don't know what a bogan is, it's just a full 110% pure blood Aussie. And like, they're like, alright mate, let's go smoke some hongers, alright? Yeah buddy, yeah, fucking whoop whoop whoop. That's all they're like. It's kind of weird. And what else is there? We do not have deadly animals. I guess there's some of the animals are the deadliest animals in the world, but you don't see them. You rarely see them. Personally, I rarely see a kangaroo. The only animals I see is my pet dog, my pet cat, my fish, and over my back fence there's a farm and there's like 80,000 cows, and it's really fun for me because I can just pop over the fence and shoot them with a BB gun and they start doing backflips and stuff. So I'm going to cut the gameplay short. If you do not believe that it is a 120 kill gameplay with the Vepr, just trust me, believe me on this, because it is. If you guys did enjoy the gameplay and the commentary, don't forget to leave a like down below. If we could hit 150 likes, that would be insane. Don't forget to check out Aspect and my channel. It would really mean a ton. I know this commentary evolved a lot from what the topic was meant to be, but I guess that's what happens when you don't script your commentaries. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you're having a great day.